You've watched all the money-saving tips. You've learned how to budget and save money. Maybe you've tried cash stuffing, downloaded budgeting apps, cut subscriptions, skipped takeout, and told yourself this is what responsible adults do. And yet, your life doesn't feel bigger. Your stress isn't lower. Your bank account moves. But your financial position doesn't move at all. You're saving money, but somehow you're still stuck. What if the problem isn't your discipline? What if the strategy itself is limiting you? Because there's something almost nobody talks about. And here it is. The budgeting trap nobody talks about. Let me ask you something. What if the reason you still feel stuck is not because you're bad with money, but because you followed the wrong rule? We were all taught the same thing. If you want to win financially, learn how to budget and save money. So you do it. You track every dollar. You watch endless money saving tips videos. You try cash stuffing. You download 3 different money-saving apps. You cut subscriptions. You cook at home. You try your best to save money every single month. And honestly, that's responsible. But here's the trap. Budgeting is about limiting expenses. It's about control. It's about shrinking. Budgeting is not about expanding your income. You can only shrink your life so much. There's a minimum survival cost in the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, anywhere really. Rent, healthcare, groceries, insurance, transportation. Even if you master saving money, those bills don't disappear. Imagine you earn $3,000 a month. Your survival expenses are $2,700. You work really hard and cut $200. Great. Now you save $500 instead of $300. But your life didn't change. You're still in the same apartment. Same income. Same ceiling. That's the budgeting trap. You mastered budgeting, but your life didn't grow. Budgeting helps you survive. It doesn't automatically help you scale. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Because the next trap is even sneakier. Small savings feel productive, but they don't actually change your life. Let me say something that might sound harsh. Saving $5 is not going to change your life. But your brain will make it feel like it did. Most money-saving tips focus on tiny wins. Skip the $6 coffee. Cancel one subscription. Use different apps to save money. Search for the best ways to save money fast. Watch another video on how to save money. And look, none of that is wrong. If you save $50 this week, you feel responsible. You feel in control. You feel productive. That feeling is powerful. But here's the problem. $50 does not change your financial trajectory. If you make $3,000 a month, saving $50 is nice. But it doesn't move you to a new level. It doesn't double your income. It doesn't buy your freedom. It doesn't change your environment. Your brain loves small, controllable wins. That's why basic advice about how to budget and save money spreads so easily. It feels doable. It feels safe. But wealth usually comes from big, uncomfortable moves, such as negotiating your salary, switching industries, learning a high-income skill, building something scalable, taking a calculated risk. Those things are scary. So instead, we go back to more tips for savings money. Because cutting $10 feels easier than asking for a $10,000 raise. Saving money gives you dopamine. Increasing income gives you transformation. You're celebrating small victories in a game that requires big moves. And here's where it gets even more serious. Even if you become extremely disciplined, even if you master every small saving trick, there's something bigger working against you. Because the cost of living doesn't stay still. And that leads us to the next reality. Inflation is faster than your discipline. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but somehow falling behind anyway? You're following all the money-saving tips. You learned how to budget and save money. You're serious about saving money. Maybe you're even doing cash stuffing every month. You're disciplined, but the system doesn't stand still. Rent rises, groceries rise, healthcare rises, insurance rises, tuition rises. Your discipline stays the same. Costs don't. That's the part nobody explains clearly. You can cut $200 from your spending. But if rent goes up $150 next year and groceries rise another $100, you're back where you started. Not because you failed, because the math changed. Let's make it simple. Imagine you save $300 a month. That's $3,600 a year. Sounds good, right? But if your living expenses increase by $4,000 next year, your discipline didn't win. Inflation did. And this hits especially hard in places like the US, UK, Canada, Australia, where cost of living anxiety is everywhere. People think they're bad with money, but many times they're just living in a faster-moving economy. You can't out-budget structural inflation. Budgeting is static. The economy is dynamic. That doesn't mean saving money is useless. It just means saving alone can't outrun a system that keeps expanding. And when people feel this pressure, they often respond by cutting even more. Less fun. Less risk. Less movement. But here's the hidden danger. When you focus only on cutting, you might also be cutting something else. Opportunities. And that leads us to the next problem. Oversaving can actually shrink your opportunities. Let me say something that sounds uncomfortable. What if saving too much is actually limiting your future? We talk a lot about how to save money. We download money-saving apps. We search for best ways to save money fast. We collect endless tips for savings money. We try every new apps to save money that promises control. And again, none of that is wrong. But this is where it becomes psychological. Extreme saving often means fewer social events, fewer networking opportunities, fewer calculated risks, less exposure. And exposure creates opportunity. If you always choose the cheapest option, you may also choose the smallest environment. Imagine this. You skip a professional event because the ticket is $80. You don't join a course because it costs $500. You don't move to a better city because rent is higher. You saved money. But what did you lose? Maybe that event connects you to someone who offers you a better job. Maybe that course increases your income by $10,000 a year. Maybe that move changes your entire network. Saving money protects your present. Positioning grows your future. Sometimes spending is not consumption. It's leverage, paying for skill development, investing in better tools, putting yourself in higher value rooms. Those are not expenses. They're multipliers. But when you train your brain to only cut, you start avoiding growth. A smaller life rarely creates bigger income. You can't shrink your way into expansion. And this leads to the final realization. Because when you look at how wealthy people actually operate, you'll notice something surprising. They don't obsess over saving first. And that's where everything starts to shift. So let's talk about this. Wealthy people don't obsess over saving first. What if I told you the reason you're still broke is because you're following too many money-saving tips? Sounds crazy, right? We've been told our whole life. Just save more. Cut expenses. Learn how to budget and save money. And yes, saving matters. But here's the truth nobody says out loud. Saving is defense. Wealth is offense. Most middle-class advice starts with spreadsheets and cutting coffee. But high earners, they focus on increasing income first. They ask, how can I increase my skill value? How can I own something? How can I build assets? How can I create leverage? They don't obsess over saving $5. They obsess over making $5,000. Think about it like this. If you earn $3,000 a month and save $300, that's good. Discipline. Smart. But if you increase your skills and now earn $10,000 a month, Even saving the same 10% becomes $1,000. See the difference? The problem isn't that saving is bad. The problem is when saving becomes your main strategy. You can't shrink your way to wealth. Wealthy people still save. Of course they do, but they save strategically. They don't just ask, how do I cut costs? They ask, how do I increase value? Instead of only learning how to budget and save money, they learn sales, investing, business, negotiation, ownership, because ownership builds wealth. Equity builds wealth. Assets build wealth. Saving protects what you have. Ownership multiplies what you have. Here's the truth. Saving money is protection, not acceleration. If you only play defense in a game, you don't win. You just don't lose fast. And that mindset shift, that's powerful. Stop thinking like someone trying to survive. Start thinking like someone trying to grow. Use money-saving tips to create stability. Then use your stability to build income. Then use income to build assets. That's how wealth is built. Not by clipping coupons forever, but by increasing your value in the marketplace. And once you understand that, you stop asking, how can I save more? And you start asking, how can I earn more? If this video is useful, please share and comment. And if you like financial content like this, like and subscribe this channel. Hundreds K.